Ugh, the final walk down Wisteria Lane. Hi guys! So last night was, the series finale to Desperate Housewives. Man, that makes me feel old. I've been someone who has consistently fallen back to this show since season 1. I remember the series premiere because I was young and my mom was super excited about it. She was excited that it starts off with a suicide because that's what they were promoting, that it starts off with Mary Alice killing herself. And I remember I was like, I want to watch it, and I did, and I fell in love with it, and it was great. And I've, since then, even if I haven't every Sunday sat down to watch it, I have caught up with the season, so I can't believe that it's over. It's one of those shows that I kind of just assumed would go on forever, like General Hospital. But alas, all things must come to an end, and Desperate Housewives came to an end last night. Okay, I'm gonna put it out there now. Spoiler alert, if you haven't watched the series finale, if you don't want to know about the series finale, do not watch this video. Go watch the series finale, because it was awesome, and that's all I'll tell you, is that it was awesome, but leave this video now. You've been warned. It was so good. I am so happy about it, because there have been so many series finales that have not lived up to their shows, and I thought the Desperate Housewives series finale was one of the best series finales I've ever seen. Talking about the first hour of the episode, concluding all the stuff with Bree and whatnot, I was really curious as to how they were going to end it. I thought that they might pull a Seinfeld and have them all end up in jail or something along that lines, or one of them killing themselves to come full circle, because Desperate Housewives has been one of those shows that has been like full circle. Like the beginning of this season started off with a note that says, I know what you did, it makes me sick, I'm going to tell. But it was great because I really didn't know what was going to happen. I started to kind of tell what was going to happen when they showed Mrs. McCluskey and that she had overheard. I was like, she's dying. Is she going to confess? Maybe? Or is she going to tell the story? I don't know. But when she did, when she was like, I killed that bastard, I was like, yes, go Mrs. McCluskey for the win. Oh my God, I love you. I also have a very big bias towards that actress because she plays a character in The West Wing, Mrs. Landingham, who is very lovable, so I love her. Any good episode should have a victory moment where you're like, yes, 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 yes. Either that or you're like, no, 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 no. But this was a yes, 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 yes. I'm very passionate about this. And then the Tom Lynette thing, I really didn't think that they were going to end up back together. I really thought that Lynette was going to let him go for a little while. I was like, you know what? Mark Cherry has been a bitch. Sorry, Mark Cherry. I love you, but I hate you. You killed Mike, and I will never forgive you for that. But I wasn't sure whether they were going to end up back together, and that moment with the you, it was great. It was so good. It was so good. I love the fact that Gabby was going to go forward for Carlos, because the moment that I saw the wheels turning in her mind to do that, I was like, that makes complete and total sense. You go, girl. Gabby's always been one of my favorites, and Carlos is definitely one of my favorites, so I just loved that. This video is probably going to be longer than anticipated. Moving on to part 2 of the episode, the second hour. I love when shows do like montage-y things. I'm really into Community now, and they do some like flashback kind of episodes a lot of the time. I was a big fan of Lost. So the fact that like they did the beginning, the Mary Alice, being introduced to Mrs. Huber, flashing forward with all of our favorite little sequences like Susan naked and Bree naked and Bree loading a gun and Gabby mowing the lawn in her dress. I thought that was great, and there were certain moments in there that I had forgotten about, and I as a fan was like, oh my God, I remember that. And I love that at the end of the episode they ended it off with Susan going and introducing herself to the new neighbor, to the woman that was going to move into her house, and then driving through the neighborhood. Oh my God. They did such a good job, because every character that I could think of was standing there. They brought back George. Me, my mother, and my sister say the biggest failure of Desperate Housewives was the decision to kill off Rex in season 1. I still stand by that. And I was like, Rex isn't there, I'm going to kill someone. And he was there, so that was good. And the second half was just so typical Desperate Housewives, typical how do they get away with this, but it's hilarious. I mean, and the moment that Julie was in the car, I was like, oh no, she's gonna give birth in the car, she's gonna give birth in the car, and I was right, and I was happy to be right. And the fact that her water broke on Renee's dress and they had to go and steal a dress and they're running and all that stuff. It was great. It was just so campy Desperate Housewives, and that was the perfect way to end the last episode, because that's exactly like the first episode. Then there was the ending with Mary Alice describing where all the girls would end up. I thought it was so well written. I'm happy to say that if Desperate Housewives has ever done anything realistic, the ending to the show was realistic. That they all ended up just with their husbands, with their families. They don't see each other again, and that's okay. I'm okay with that. A lot of TV shows end with the audience's biggest complaint is we're like, well, wait, but where are they going? What's going to happen? Like, I don't know enough. I was happy to see that Gabby got her own TV show. I was so happy to, like, hear that Lynette did well and that she's still with Tom, and I was happy to hear all of those things. Like, I'm glad, because I left feeling like I knew what was going on and that every loop had been tied, except I loved this. I love that they ended it off with the new neighbor had a secret and that she locked something up and we weren't going to know what it was. I didn't want to know what it was. I just knew that there's another member of Wisteria Lane that's crazy, and that the craziness of Wisteria Lane would still go on without these ladies. I loved it. I thought it was great. Can you tell what I thought of this episode? Can you tell? Happy to say that I will miss Desperate Housewives, but I feel very concluded. I feel like the series ended and I can move away from it. I spent the entire weekend, by the way, I said that I always fall back to Desperate Housewives, and I always do. I came downstairs on Friday morning, and a Newsday newspaper was on our kitchen table, and it had a big thing for Wisteria Lane and the season finale, and I realized that it was going to be this Sunday, and me and my sister spent Friday and Saturday watching almost an entire season of Desperate Housewives to catch up. So I watched a lot of Desperate Housewives this weekend. It was a Wisteria Lane dirty laundry weekend. But I guess the bottom line is, thank you ABC and Desperate Housewives, because you gave me a series that was great and funny and always fun to come back to, and no matter how crazy or unrealistic some of the time it was, or cliche, predictable, doesn't matter, because it was always still a great show. And I will miss watching that group of actresses act together. I think that's the biggest thing. I loved Marcia Cross, Eva Longoria, all of the women I just loved, and they did a great job and were really dedicated to the series. Nicolette Sheridan as well, because I loved her when she was on the show. So thank you guys, because it was great, and you should be very proud of yourselves, and I will miss the dirty laundry of Wisteria Lane. Sorry if this video was a little long, but it's my opinion. I don't care. Bye! You had to kill Mark Cherry. You had to. MJ doesn't have a dad anymore.